A bloody handprint slides down the cold stone wall, the last act of a losing battle. Even his sacred staff, the symbol of his divine power, lies completely shattered. Yan Yongking, a priest of light, can barely even stand, leaning on his broken weapon. Coughing up blood, he just cannot comprehend how everything managed to fall apart so completely. He screams at the traitor, an angel of light, demanding to know why she'd side with demons. And there she is, Kaitun, the supposed goddess of light, standing behind the demon king Takma, some goddess. Her excuse is that humans could not win, so she simply made the wisest choice, spine optional apparently. But Yan Yongking furiously points out that her betrayal is the only asterisk reason they lost in the first place. This demon king just scoffs, taunting him about being the last healer left alive, utterly useless now. With nothing left to lose, Yan Yongking channels all his remaining power for one last charge. Takma just watches him approach, not even a little bit concerned, just thoroughly amused. A giant demonic hand rises up to meet him, ready to just snatch him out of the sky. He is caught effortlessly in that grip, screaming in agony as the immense pressure crushes his body. His vision blurs from the sheer pain as the demon's grip tightens even more. Then the demon's fist closes completely, ending the priest's life in a single, brutal moment. A sickening crunch echoes through the ruins, silencing the last remaining hero of humanity. And with that, blood splatters across the broken stones, a truly grim end to his story. But just as his consciousness fades, a system window appears. You have obtained the Demon Lord system. His thoughts echo in the void, totally confused because he was pretty sure he just got crushed. A new message flashes before him, informing him he is being transferred to the Demon Altar. A new character sheet pops up, showing Yan Yongking is now a level 1 Demon Lord with stats that are frankly embarrassing. His eyes snap open, now a demonic red, as the reality of his situation starts to sink in. Suddenly, he finds himself standing on some kind of creepy stone altar that is starting to glow. From the ground, a massive, ominous-looking coffin begins to rise. And it is not just one, he is surrounded by a whole circle of 10 of these things. Our boy is understandably confused, wondering what the deal is with all the goth home decor. This system explains he is the new Demon Lord and must unlock 10 legendary demons, even giving him summoning skills. He completely loses it, screaming about the irony of fighting demons his whole life just to become their boss. This whole thing feels like some kind of twisted cosmic joke, a punishment perfectly tailored to him. Just then, one of the coffins starts rumbling and glowing with some seriously dark energy. But then a thought hits him. With this power, he can finally get revenge on that traitorous angel Kaitun. Fueled by pure spite, he clenches his fist and fully accepts his new job title, Demon Lord. A new prompt tells him to stand in the center to go back to the human world, so he starts walking. This second his foot touches the circle, the whole altar explodes with crackling blue energy. That power then arcs from his position directly towards one of the 10 coffins, striking it dead on and causing the whole thing to light up like a demonic Christmas tree. This intense energy surge seems to be linking him directly to whatever's inside that coffin. A massive pillar of golden light then erupts from the altar, engulfing him completely. Inside the light, he makes a solemn vow to make that backstabbing angel of light pay for everything. And just like that, he is back, with a brand new look and a revenge quest ready to go. He is back in the human world, only to find some dude mourning at his own grave. This guy Su Dingfeng is apparently an old comrade who thinks Yan Yongking was a coward who ran away. A voice from behind sarcastically complains about the quality of his own tombstone, a great way to announce you are not dead. Su Dingfeng whips around, totally spooked because that voice is way too familiar. And there he is, Yan Yongking, back from the dead and already judging his friend's memorial decorating skills. This poor guy is so shocked he drops his lollipop, finally realizing his dead friend is standing right there. Yan Yongking just casually confirms he is real, as if he just came back from a long vacation. His friend breaks down crying, revealing he has been visiting this grave for 5 years. This is news to Yan Yongking, who is absolutely floored to learn he has been gone that long. But his buddy's priorities are a little skewed, immediately roasting him for still being level 2 after 5 years. Priorities, man. As they catch up, we see a massive angel statue looming over the landscape, a monument to a lie. Riding on a scooter, Su Dingfeng explains that everyone thinks the angels won the war, so now they are worshipped. Our newly minted Demon Lord cannot believe the absolute garbage he is hearing, knowing Kaitun sold them all out. This guy admits he would have fallen for the propaganda too, but now he just wants to celebrate. He even offers to treat Yan Yongking to a meal at a new restaurant. A bro reunion is in order. With his new demonic eyes blazing, Yan Yongking is all business, saying he is heading straight for a dungeon. His buddy agrees but warns him that things have changed a lot in 5 years, starting with needing cash. This next scene cuts straight to Yan Yongking's unfiltered rage, and honestly same, because dungeons are no longer free-for-alls, they have been turned into a tourist trap with an admission fee. And the prices are insane. A ticket costs a fortune plus an 80% cut of the loot, which is just pure corporate greed. This ticket seller just screams that these have been the rates for 5 years, basically calling them poor. Yan Yongking is ready to throw down right there, but Su Dingfeng desperately holds him back. We get a quick history lesson on how humanity sealed monsters away inside dungeons across the world. But of course, those seals started to weaken, letting the monsters plot their grand return. This forced countless adventurers into the dungeons, where one team got absolutely wrecked by a giant beast. And it turns out Su Dingfeng was the only survivor of that massacre, which explains his low level. He is still fuming about the new dungeon rules, calling the guilds greedier than actual bandits. Since Kaitun's fake victory, dungeons are just tourist traps, which is why he quit leveling up entirely. Yan Yongking thanks him for spotting him the cash, but his friend says it is nothing since he used to help everyone. Now that they are finally inside, Su Dingfeng asks what the big rush was all about. With a grin, Yan Yongking reveals the plan. He is level 1 and needs to kill the boss to make it a demon's slave. At that exact moment, his new demonic eyes flare up, sensing something dangerous approaching fast. This two of them stand at the bottom of a barren, rocky slope, waiting for their first opponent. And there it is, a massive level 1 giant scorpion crawling into view to say hello. Su Dingfeng tells him to stay back and watch a pro work, summoning magic circles with way too much confidence. That bravado lasts all of 2 seconds before the scorpion's pincer slams down on him. Its claw snaps shut with terrifying speed, aiming to crush him completely. He manages to get his shield up just in time, blocking the devastating blow. But the sheer force of the impact sends him flying, knocking his sword from his hand. Now disarmed on the ground, he looks up at the monster, realizing he might have overestimated himself a little. Yan Yongking notes that his tank friend Su Dingfeng is a higher level than these mobs, so he can handle them. Meanwhile, our boy gets a whopping 2 experience points for just standing there, truly a team effort. So he starts ordering Su Dingfeng around, telling him to pull more monsters for a big AI attack. This strategy pays off immediately as a flood of exp and loot notifications fill the screen. In seconds, the ground is littered with the smoking corpses of a dozen giant scorpions. Yan Yongking proudly announces he has already hit level 2 and his buddy is seriously impressed with the speed. His level up grants him a new skill, Soul Tremor, which can literally paralyze enemies with fear. Now standing over a pile of monster parts, he tells his friend to get ready for the main event. Su Dingfeng is practically vibrating with excitement, realizing he is about to see the demon conversion skill firsthand. With demonic energy crackling in his hand, Yan Yongking commands the dead scorpions to become his allies. A massive surge of golden lightning erupts from the ground, engulfing the fallen monsters. Their broken shells begin to glow and reassemble into something far more intimidating. A massive armored pincer rises from the light, signaling the transformation is complete. Su Dingfeng's jaw just drops, completely stunned by the sheer power on display. And from the light emerge 2 humanoid scorpion warriors, now loyal level 1 demon minions. His friend is totally geeking out, calling the new forms awesome and noting their shapeshifting traits. Yan Yongking, now in full demon lord mode, orders his new pets to clear out the rest of the dungeon. These 2 scorpion demons immediately blast off, speeding towards the remaining monsters in the distance. As X brains down, Su Dingfeng hatches a brilliant, lazy plan to let the minions grind for them while they sleep. He gives himself a big thumbs up, absolutely convinced he is a tactical genius for inventing AFK farming. Su Dingfeng explains that his genius AFK plan is dead on arrival because the dungeon fees make every run a net loss. Just then, a dark energy blast zips past them, and Yan Yongking calmly announces it is time to meet the boss. His friend is absolutely losing it because one of their brand new scorpion minions just got instantly vaporized. This minion's disembodied head even apologizes for waking the boss before it dies, which is just sad. Yan Yongking is not even surprised, admitting he never expected his level 1 pets to actually win anyway. And there it is, the dungeon boss, waiting in a misty arena with the remains of his minions scattered around. A system window introduces the mole King Rark, a big angry-looking armored bug monster. Su Dingfeng steps up again, telling Yan Yongking to stay back while he handles the tanking. But Yan Yongking completely vetoes that, saying he is weaker and will be the bait this time around. His brilliant strategy for being bait involves flipping off the giant monster, a classic for a reason. This predictably makes the Mole King absolutely furious as it charges forward with a deafening roar. He shouts the plan to his buddy. He will stun it, then Su Dingfeng attacks before taking off at a full sprint. Our tiny demon lord runs for his life with the massive Mole King right on his heels, ready to flatten him. Instead of just running in circles, he pulls a slick move and sprints straight up the side of the arena wall. From the top of his arc, he launches himself directly over the charging beast, dodging its attack completely. His demonic eyes flare with power as he activates his new skill, Soul Tremor, in midair. And it works perfectly. The Mole King freezes in its tracks, completely paralyzed by sheer terror. With the monster locked down, Yan Yongking screams at Su Dingfeng to make his move now. His friend does not need to be told twice, charging in at full speed to strike the vulnerable boss. He drives his sword straight into the monster's glowing weak spot for a perfect critical hit. And his brand new skill immediately fails as the Mole King just roars in his face, completely unimpressed. Instead of attacking, the monster just drills straight down into the ground, sending rocks flying everywhere. It leaves behind a massive pit, with our 2 heroes standing on opposite sides looking pretty dumbfounded. Su Dingfeng starts roasting his friend's weak attack, but Yan Yongking is just confused by the weird metaphor. Our boy smugly explains he was aiming for the only unarmored spot on the monster, its butt of course. With a confident grin, Yan Yongking announces he has got a new plan, since he is clearly the main target now. He tells Su Dingfeng to stand ready to stab the monster when it pops up from behind to ambush him. Buddy is completely sold, praising Yan Yongking's rich combat experience like he is some kind of tactical god. Yan Yongking just shrugs it off, claiming he learned the trick from some old elite squad veterans. Suddenly, his demonic eyes light up as he senses the ground rumbling. It is showtime. Right on cue, the ground behind him begins to crack and bulge as the Mole King emerges for round two. Su Dingfeng stands poised and ready, sword gripped tight, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. He is perfectly aligned to stab the monster right in the back as it comes up for the kill. But the Mole King bursts out of the ground with a roar, completely ignoring the obvious trap. It lunges straight for Yan Yongking because apparently it holds a grudge against people who flip it off. Su Dingfeng can only watch as the massive beast barrels right past him, his perfect plan now totally useless. At the last second, Yan Yonking's eyes flash red as he unleashes another soul tremor at point-blank range. He yells that he can only hold it for a moment and tells his friend to hurry up and end this thing. With a battle cry, Su Dingfeng charges forward, his sword glowing with a powerful blue light. He drives his blade deep into the Mole King's back, hitting it with a massive critical strike. This Mole King goes down, dropping a nice pile of loot and X for the boys. First up is a sweet level 2 shield that stores blocked damage for a massive counterattack. They also get a dagger that can trigger an instant extra slash on a hit, not bad at all. Su Dingfeng is floored, realizing this loot is way too good for a low-level dungeon. With a smug look, Yan Yongking explains he gambled that a weaker version of a high-level boss would be here. He lets his buddy pick first, and Su Dingfeng immediately grabs the shield, leaving the dagger for Yan Yongking. His friend questions the dagger for a former priest, but our boy reveals he always wanted to be a melee fighter. Yan Yongking figures he can sell the monster parts to pay his friend back, but Su Dingfeng has some bad news. And we cut back to the guild office, where Yan Yongking is absolutely losing his mind. He is screaming that the guild monopolized the market, forcing everyone to sell materials for pennies while taking a huge cut. This absolute gem of an employee tells them to be grateful, even threatening to start charging for exp next. Ready to throw hands, Yan Yongking is held back by Su Dingfeng, who warns him this guild is too powerful. His demonic eyes flare up as he sizes up one of the guild's enforcers standing in the background. This desk jockey just flips him off, a demonic shadow looming behind him as he tells them to scram. Suddenly, a bald enforcer with glowing red eyes steps forward with his goons, ready to kick them out. He tells the lowly peasants to get lost, clearly enjoying his little power trip just a bit too much. But Yan Yongking stops, demanding the shield as compensation for his delicate feelings. What an absolute power move. This employee is stunned and Su Dingfeng is freaking out, but Yan Yongking just tells him to hand over the shield. With a sinister grin, our boy promises he will be taking it back soon enough. This is all part of the plan. As night falls, we see the guild headquarters, where our boy is clearly planning a little late-night visit. Inside the guild's swanky headquarters, a bunch of goons are just lounging around, totally oblivious. This bald enforcer from before is catching up on the news, which is all about adventurers mysteriously vanishing. His subordinate asks why some big shot named Mr. Zhu visits this secluded place, but the boss just tells him to shut up. Meanwhile, a dark, ominous presence is creeping up the stairs, looks like the party's about to start. Upstairs, some poor soul is literally on a dinner plate, which is not a great sign for their long-term health. And some monster of a man is chowing down with a disgusting amount of effort, making some truly awful noises. This racket finally gets the attention of the goons downstairs, who are wondering what the hell is going on. One of them heads outside to check, grumbling that it is probably just a stray cat in this desolate area. He immediately finds a car with its hood completely caved in, definitely not a stray cat. Before he can even scream, Yan Yongking is right behind him, looking ready to collect his stolen property. Our boy takes a single, deliberate step forward, announcing his arrival with a loud clack of his shoe. Back inside, the other two open the door to find their buddy stumbling back in, looking completely dazed. One of them just stares, a flash of red reflecting in his eyes as he realizes something is terribly wrong. And yep, their friend is completely paralyzed, hit with the good old soul tremor debuff. Yan Yongking uses the frozen goon as a springboard, launching himself into the room with his dagger drawn. He twists midair, aiming a brutal kick straight at the second guy's head before he can even react. This kick sends the guy flying through a table as Yan Yongking simultaneously closes in on the bald enforcer. With another powerful blow, he sends the enforcer crashing backward right through the glass window. This enforcer screams in agony, his hand suddenly erupting in a swirl of orange, fiery energy. But Yan Yongking is not even phased, his demonic eyes glowing as he readies his dagger for the final blow. Yan Yongking easily dodges the enforcer's clumsy attack, his dagger already in position for a counter. This room is pure chaos as the boss screams for his men to kill him, a tough order when they are all on the floor. But our boy's demonic eye just glows as he unleashes his new favorite skill, Soul Tremor. A wave of pure terror washes over the bald enforcer, his face frozen in a silent scream. This fear is so intense he literally points his own gun at his head. Talk about a glowing product review. And with that, the downstairs welcoming committee is officially out of commission for the night. Now standing before the final door, Yan Yongking can feel a cold, sinister aura seeping through. This heavy door slowly creaks open, revealing the horrors waiting on the other side. He steps into the room with a grim look, already knowing this will not be pretty. This first thing he sees are the remains of a person on a table, looks like he is interrupting dinner. A pile of skulls in the corner confirms this guild's side hustle is just straight-up cannibalism. Yan Yongking finally confronts the big boss, Mr. Zhu, calling him out for feasting on others like a parasite. This guy just scoffs, threatening to put our level 2 hero on the menu next for his insolence. With a smug little grin, Yan Yongking prepares to make him eat those words. He calmly reminds the monster that he is just here to take back what was stolen from him. Absolutely furious, Mr. Zhu starts powering up, summoning twin fireballs to roast the arrogant brat. He unleashes his fiery magic with a furious roar, completely convinced this fight is already over. Sending a massive volley of fireballs hurtling straight toward Yan Yongking. But our boy just gracefully leaps through the barrage, dodging every single shot with impossible ease. Mr. Zhu can only stare in disbelief, sweating as his ultimate attack completely whiffs. Yan Yongking becomes a literal blur, his new dagger painting the air with a flurry of red-hot strikes. Mr. Zhu is just baffled, checking his files and wondering how a registered level 1 healer is this damn fast. All the big guy can see is a red streak of light zipping right for his face. And that dagger's special skill procs, giving Yan Yongking an instant extra slash for maximum disrespect. Mr. Zhu looks down, a cold sweat breaking as he finally realizes he's been tagged. He is suddenly covered in cuts, completely stunned that this kid actually drew blood. With a smug grin, Yan Yongking offers the monster the honor of becoming his personal servant. What a Chad. This of course sends Mr. Zhu into a sputtering rage because how dare he? He tries to power up a counterattack, clutching his chest and telling the kid to stop posturing. But our boy just watches, completely unfazed by the desperate light show. A massive explosion of dark energy erupts from Mr. Zhu's body, blowing everything back. When the dust settles, a new demonic silhouette with glowing eyes stands against the moon. This camera pans down to a very fancy, spiky golden belt buckle. And it is a level 2 elite demon named Pundi, who just burst out of Mr. Zhu's now discarded body. This demon looks down, totally underwhelmed that its host got taken out by a mere level 2 adventurer. He then complains about accidentally burning his host and having to find a new one, peak villain inconvenience. Seeing his chance, Yan Yongking starts casting Enslaved Demon, while the monster is busy monologuing. This demon finally notices something is up, turning its head just a second too late. With his hand outstretched, Yan Yongking unleashes the swirling red vortex of his enslavement spell. Pundi just scoffs that such a slow spell could never hit him, right as it completely engulfs his face. Pundi laughs off the spell, asking if our boy is already sweating, a classic villain mistake. But the enslavement spell erupts into a massive pillar of pink fire, engulfing the demon completely. Yan Yongking wisely leaps for the exit as the entire floor explodes in a demonic backlash. He grits his teeth, clearly feeling the raw, untamed power of that detonation. Below him, the room becomes a swirling vortex of pure destructive energy. This hellfire burns right through the floor, instantly incinerating the goons downstairs. Collateral damage, whoops. Realizing the cramped room is a death trap, Yan Yongking decides to take this fight outside. He bolts for the roof, with Pundi emerging from the newly made skylight right behind him. This demon gives chase, mocking his prey for thinking the forest offers any kind of escape. Pundi boasts his hellfire has a burn overtime effect that will turn anything to ash. He soars through the trees, hunting for his target with a fiery trail painting the sky. Landing in a clearing, the demon cannot find him, calling the cunning level 2 a rat. Suddenly, a blur of motion from the tree line signals the ambush is on. And Yan Yongking comes flying in with a devastating slash, aiming to carve the demon in two. This blade connects, drawing first blood and slicing deep into Pundi's shoulder. Absolutely enraged, the demon starts charging up a point-blank energy blast in retaliation. But our boy is already on the move, dodging before the attack can even fully form. He leaps away as a ghostly claw erupts from the ground, another one of his mysterious skills. Pundi is absolutely livid, screaming that he is going to skin him alive for that little stunt. Wreathed in flames, the demon barrels forward, convinced he is about to end this for good. Pundi unleashes a storm of pink hellfire, not holding anything back this time. Yan Yongking dives for cover as the entire forest behind him gets absolutely vaporized. This fiery blast just carves a path of total destruction through the trees. Our boy makes a run for it, leaping down a rocky cliff to find a new angle. With his dagger at the ready, he has clearly got a plan brewing midair. This demon lands right behind him, smugly pointing out he has run himself into a dead end. Pundi starts charging up another massive attack, ready to end this little game of tag. He unleashes his Time Inferno cannon, which sounds way too cool for this pink blob. This giant beam of energy just rips through the canyon, leaving nothing in its wake. After the dust settles, Pundi is sure not even a speck of his target remains. He immediately starts complaining about his last host's diabetes, peak villain priorities right there. But his victory speech is cut short when he senses something is very, very wrong. Suddenly, a massive armored creature bursts from the ground, grabbing him from below. A huge golden pincer slams into the earth with incredible force. And just like that, the demon is caught, trapped between two massive claws. Pundi is completely stunned, finding himself in the grip of some kind of giant beetle servant. He looks back at the crater, confused since the human should have been turned to ash. A smoking hole in the ground reveals Yan Yongking had an escape route planned all along. This demon finally gets it. He was baited into a trap using his own servant. Even while trapped, Pundi roars that this is not nearly enough to take him down. This demon is yoked by a glowing chain, completely at the mercy of the giant beetle servant. With Pundi immobilized, Yan Yongking casts Enslaved Demon again, his own demonic aura flaring up. This time, the spell hits hard and Pundi's mind just completely shatters under the pressure. Yan Yongking calmly tells his new beetle servant, apparently named Rark, to release the demon. Now that he has been properly humbled, Pundi is ordered to cough up all his valuable loot. This newly enslaved demon drops a fancy shield and a few decent-looking weapons on the ground. On top of that, there is a literal pile of gold bars. Payday is looking pretty good. His new servant explains that Mr. Zhu converted the entire guild treasury into this pile of loot. Our boy does some quick math and realizes this is over 10 million just from shaking down newbies. But just as he is counting his winnings, the chain of enslavement suddenly snaps. A system warning flashes that his new pet is about to break free from his control. Pundi smirks, powering up a red energy blast, clearly enjoying his newfound freedom. With a furious roar, he unleashes the attack right in Yan Yonking's face. It looks like a direct hit, completely engulfing our hero in a massive pink explosion. But a system notification pops up saying Pundi has been eliminated. Wait, what just happened? Yan Yongking gets 300 exp, levels up to 3, and unlocks a busted new passive, Lord Privilege. He looks down at the scorched earth where a tiny chibified version of the demon now sits. With his eyes glowing, Yan Yongking reaches out, commanding the newly reformed demon to swear its loyalty. Dark energy swirls as he officially adds the demon to his servant roster, filling his second demon space. Now a proper LV3 servant, Pundi bows and asks for orders. No training from scratch required. With his new power secured, Yan Yongking knows his next step is finding unregulated dungeons to grind in. So he puts his new demon servant on the spot, demanding to be taken to where the other monsters are hiding. A little while later, we cut to a seemingly normal apartment building in the city. A guy with spiky blonde hair answers the door to a delivery he is pretty sure he never ordered. He struggles with the massive box, wondering if it is just a prank filled with bricks. But opening it up reveals his stolen shield and stacks of solid gold bars. A note from Yan Yongking explains he got the gear back and tells him to keep the gold, with an offer to team up. This guy is absolutely floored, completely in shock that our boy actually managed to take down a whole rogue guild. He picks up one of the gold bars, his mind just blown by the sheer value of this delivery. Outside the door, the delivery guy hears him screaming about how rich he is, mission accomplished. And it is revealed the delivery guy was just Pundi in a hat, reporting back to his master with those creepy glowing eyes. Yan Yongking gets the confirmation, looking pretty satisfied with tying up that loose end. Now riding his beetle servant Rark, he asks Pundi if he is sure about the address for their next target. Pundi has led them to a massive, ornate temple dedicated to the light god, not exactly a demon's usual hangout spot. His new servant explains that the light angel's power comes from these temples, so destroying one will weaken her. Deciding that is a perfectly logical reason to commit sacrilege, Yan Yongking gives the order to proceed. He tells Rark to go into stealth mode once they are inside, keeping his trump card hidden. Meanwhile, back at the site of the former guild, investigators are picking through the rubble. A man in a pink suit, Mr. Zhu's brother, arrives and learns his sibling was completely turned to ash. Realizing this was a high-level attack, he orders a full investigation into every registered adventurer in the area. Mr. Zhu's brother is way more concerned about the 10 million gold than his actual dead sibling. Inside the temple, the welcoming committee is a level 3 corrupted light knight, ready to rumble. An overhead view shows Yan Yongking already farming exp, completely surrounded by armored goons. Our boy actually offers them a chance to surrender, reminding them they once served the light. Their answer is a giant sword to the face because diplomacy is for chumps. Yan Yongking sidesteps and casually lops the knight's head off. Negotiations have officially failed. He is already on to the next one, dodging another heavy swing like it is nothing. A new skill called Soul Tremor erupts from his eyes, hitting a knight point blank. This poor guy gets blasted backwards, completely stunned by the mental attack. Seeing this, the other knights decide to just Zerg rush him off the bridge, a truly brilliant plan. Yan Yongking just hits the whole group with another Soul Tremor, aiming to stunlock them all. But one knight's shield glows and a system message pops up saying the spell was interrupted. Now on the back foot, he leaps over the charging mob to create some space. He immediately turns his retreat into a spinning aerial attack, diving back into the fray. His dagger carves through the formation, a whirlwind of steel and broken armor. Bouncing between them like a pinball, he is just dismantling the entire squad single-handedly. This last few knights are terrified, knowing they cannot retreat or their overseer will punish them. And right on cue, a level 3 elite overseer appears to clean up the mess. This new boss glares down, looking thoroughly unimpressed with his minions' performance. He winds up a swing with a massive double-bladed axe, ready to do this job himself. Yan Yongking counters by summoning a ghostly blue knight to do the dirty work for him. This spectral warrior unleashes a massive horizontal slash, clearing the entire bridge instantly. After the smoke clears, the overseer is the only one left standing in the path of destruction. He is absolutely furious, calling our boy a demon for wiping out his own men. The irony is delicious. Meanwhile, miles away, Pundi sneezes, feeling that slander from across the city. Turns out Yan Yongking was never in danger, with Rark taking the hit like an absolute champ. Our boy flips the overseer off, letting him know exactly what he thinks of his management style. This boss just loses it, promising to make these filthy demons regret ever stepping foot here. He winds up for a massive overhead swing, putting all his weight behind the attack. That huge axe comes crashing down with enough force to split the bridge in two, and we cut to a completely different scene where some poor guy's head gets slammed into the ground. This impact sends his head bouncing as a terrified onlooker watches from the corner. This survivor is now begging for his life, clearly having a very, very bad day. A new guy with purple hair is interrogating him, looking for a former guild member. He pulls out a phone, showing a picture of a guy with light, spiky hair. This terrified survivor immediately recognizes the man in the photo as Su Dingfeng. With a terrifying glow in his eyes, the assassin Netta Hu demands to know where he lives. Remembering how Netta just one-shot their tank, the survivor knows he is not getting out of this by being brave. He instantly spills the full address because his spine has officially left the building. Netta asks if he looks cruel before telling him to get lost, a question with only one right answer. This survivor makes a run for it, but Netta reveals that whole letting you live thing was a joke. With a smug grin, he unleashes a skill called Magic Blade Hidden Heart. A single stomp sends an invisible wave of energy ripping through the alley, which slams the poor guy into the brick wall with incredible force. And just like that, he's been sliced clean in two, a very permanent solution. Netta calmly checks his phone, ready to move on to his next target. Meanwhile, at a totally normal-looking apartment complex somewhere in the city, Su Dingfeng hears a knock, probably thinking it is another package. But he opens the door to a very unexpected and unwelcome visitor. Netta greets him with a predatory smile, confirming his identity before the hit. Cutting back to the temple, we finally meet the big boss, a knight on a ridiculously gaudy throne. This new enemy spots a lone figure walking up the path towards him, and it is Yan Yongqing, now level 4 and looking for even more trouble. This knight grumbles about how a bug got past his overseer, who is clearly slacking on the job. Our boy just asks if he means the overseer, holding up his fist. Then proceeds to crush an actual cockroach he was holding. Subtlety is not his strong suit. He casually flicks the dead bug, asking if that is the guy he is looking for, before informing him that the overseer is taking a permanent nap. To prove his point, the overseer's severed head lands right at the foot of the throne. This knight is stunned, realizing our boy is a little tougher than an average bug after all. This night boss starts his villain's speech, powering up his sword with some dramatic lightning. His official title is Divine Judgment Arbiter Argus, a name that is clearly compensating for something. Yan Yongqing immediately tries his go-to stun move, hitting Argus with another soul tremor, but this time it completely fails. The boss just shrugs off the mental attack like it is nothing. In response, Argus launches himself into the air for a devastating overhead attack. Our boy barely dodges the strike, which carves a glowing path right where he was standing. The sheer force of the swing is insane, a blur of steel and holy light. Now on the back foot, Yan Yongqing is forced to parry with his small dagger. He gets sent flying backwards from the impact, completely outmatched in raw strength. And our boy realizes this guy is on a whole different level than the previous grunts. This sends him tumbling helplessly across the massive temple courtyard. But even midair, he starts gathering dark energy in his hand for a counterattack. Twisting around, he unleashes a powerful demonic blast right back at the knight. Argus just casually raises his sword, activating a light shield to block the incoming spell. These two opposing energies collide in a massive, screen-filling explosion of light and darkness. It is a direct hit, and the resulting shockwave is absolutely huge. Yet as the smoke clears, the knight is still standing in the middle of it all. He is completely baffled, wondering how a low-level skill actually shattered his perfect defense. Suddenly he looks up, realizing his opponent is not where he should be, because Yan Yongqing used the explosion as a smokescreen to get right on his shoulder, dagger ready. Argus complains about the sneak attack because apparently there are rules to getting stabbed in the neck. Yan Yongqing just grins, asking where his morals were when he signed up with a traitor goddess. With that settled, he drives the dagger home, ending the debate on ethics pretty decisively. But the knight's hand tightens on his sword. This guy's not going down that easily. He unleashes a wild swing, still fighting even with a massive hole in his throat. This blow sends our boy flying, completely stunned that a fatal wound was just a minor inconvenience. Golden light erupts from Argus as he just heals the gaping injury instantly. Yan Yongqing is floored, realizing this boss has a healing factor that makes his own priest look like a joke. Now fully recovered, Argus wins up for a punch that is definitely going to hurt. That punch sends Yan Yongqing rocketing into the sky like a home run derby ball. Calling him a lowly bug, the knight charges his sword with holy energy for the finisher. He unleashes a radiant flash, a massive beam of pure destructive light, which seems to engulf Yan Yongqing completely, a direct hit from a boss-level skill. This beam slices through the air, but somehow our boy is not in its path anymore. Argus looks around, confused by the distinct lack of a smoldering corpse. He starts grumbling about the Zhu Scorpion Guild, wondering how they let this trash through. And then it clicks, he suddenly remembers exactly who he is fighting. This knight is in disbelief, flashing back to his rookie days and wondering how this kid is even alive. He recalls a teammate getting beat half to death by that same corrupt guild over a magic stone. That same teammate then went to the Adventurer Tribunal, seeking justice from a certain someone on a throne. Argus remembers a kid getting his arm broken and then being framed for stealing by a guild. While the real culprit, a smug elite from Zhu Scorpion, walked away without a scratch because connections, and the one who passed that totally fair and balanced judgment was a certain knight in the tribunal. Turns out it was Argus himself, who is now having a major "oh crap, that was me" moment. Back then he was all high and mighty, boasting about how untouchable they were with the goddess's favor. Snapping back to the present, Argus powers up, promising this next attack is a guaranteed hit. His sword practically explodes with holy light, charging up for an absolutely massive strike. He unleashes Light Judgment, summoning a sword of light the size of a skyscraper because subtlety is dead. Yan Yonking is a blur of motion, but there is no escaping what is coming next. That colossal blade of light comes screaming down from the heavens, aimed to obliterate everything. Our boy feels the magical lock-on and knows dodging is impossible, so it is time for his trump card. A swirling pink energy erupts around him as he prepares to tank the hit head-on. He activates Burning Time Shield, a wild skill that literally burns away an enemy's attack from its timeline. Argus finally connects the dots on how he survived before, but vows his luck has run out. This knight just doubles down, pouring even more power into his golden sword for round 2. His giant light sword descends again, this time aimed squarely at the shimmering pink shield. Yan Yonking braces for impact, holding up a hand as the world-ending attack is inches away. Argus admits the kid is stronger than a rookie but still thinks he's got this in the bag. With a look of pure focus, our boy pushes back, his shield holding against the immense pressure, and the tip of the light sword finally makes contact, the shield beginning to crack under the strain. This shield holds, and that skyscraper-sized sword just shatters into a million pieces. Yan Yonking is surprised himself, wondering if he overdid it with the mana, feeling way stronger than usual. Argus gets blasted back by the sheer force of the counter, completely caught off guard. From his point of view, the entire platform is a smoking crater, but our boy is still standing. This knight is absolutely losing it, unable to believe Yan Yonking survived a full power attack again. Turns out he just repurposed Pundi's flame skill into a shield that can literally burn away attacks from existence. With plenty of mana left in the tank, he declares that it is finally his turn to go on the offensive. He unleashes a new skill, Soul Exploding Inferno, dumping his remaining mana into one final, massive attack. This swirling vortex of pure destruction comes screaming down from above, aimed right at the knight. Argus can only look up and brace himself, realizing he is about to get hit with something truly nasty. This attack slams into him, a direct hit that engulfs the entire area in a chaotic blast. Even with his holy powers, he can feel his defense cracking, barely able to hold on against the onslaught. But the pressure is just too much as the demonic energy tears right through his guard. It rips a massive chunk out of the floating temple, carving a path of utter destruction. After the smoke clears, a huge section of the courtyard is just gone. In the center of the crater stands Argus, his armor battered and his cape in tatters. He is actually impressed, admitting our boy is way tougher than the other bugs he has squashed before. But then he dismisses the damage as a little scratch, like it is no big deal at all. With a flash of golden light, he just starts healing himself again, because of course he has infinite heals. Suddenly his eye goes wide, noticing something is very, very wrong with his perfect healing. Turns out that last attack came with a nasty debuff, corrupting his holy light. And just like that, his infinite health cheat code has been revoked. Management is sorry for the inconvenience. Demonic energy erupts from his body, tearing him apart from the inside out. He finally realizes that attack was not just raw power, it came with a nasty curse. The sheer agony forces the mighty knight to his knees, completely overwhelmed by the dark power. Yan Yonking looms over him, pointing out this is the second time he has seen the big boss kneel today. Grabbing his helmet, he mocks the holy warrior for having such soft knees, a real burn. All that divine judgment talk evaporates and he is suddenly begging for his life. But Yan Yonking cuts him off, saying he forgot to finish the story about his old friend. This knight is completely lost, having no clue what story he is even talking about. Yan Yonking continues, explaining how his friend was blacklisted by the Zhu family and could not find work. People just gossip behind his back, blaming him for daring to challenge the powerful guild. His friend was left completely broken, with everyone saying he'd be better off dead. So he and his friends pooled some money to help, knocking on the teammates' door to check in. But they were too late, finding their friend had already given up on everything. Stomping on the knight's sword, he asks if Argus really thinks he deserves mercy after that. In a final, pathetic move, Argus offers to betray his goddess and tell Yan Yonking everything. Yan Yonking simply agrees, and Argus instantly thinks he is off the hook, already plotting his escape. Except that was just a trick to get him to lower his guard, and one clean swing takes his head clean off. He then clarifies the deal, telling the headless corpse that he can follow him after he is dead. With the boss dead, Yan Yonking hits level 5, unlocking some sweet new demon and summon skills. He is a little salty though, wondering where Pundi's exp grind went that would have made the fight easier, and starts mentally yelling at his servant for slacking on the job, a classic management technique. Meanwhile, Pundi is sweating bullets, trying to explain he has got a bit of a sticky situation going on. Turns out he is in a standoff with some purple-haired dude in an abandoned parking garage. He's protecting a pink-haired guy who has already been seriously wounded in the gut, and their opponent is a professional killer named Netahu who is not impressed. Pundi basically says kill anyone else, but this guy is off limits because he is his master's property. This injured guy asks if Yan Yonking sent the assassin, realizing our boy has a new servant, and he tries to warn Pundi that this killer is seriously dangerous. Then we flash back an hour to see how this all started, with the assassin kicking the pink-haired dude straight through an apartment window. This sends him plummeting several stories down to the street below, and even as a tank type, he was apparently knocked out cold from that single strike. He wakes up later in that same abandoned parking lot with the assassin just waiting for him, which is right when Pundy shows up to intervene, sensing trouble. Pundy immediately goes on the offensive, landing a solid punch on the killer, but he is shocked to find this guy is somehow even faster than Yan Yongking. This assassin dodges effortlessly, now looming over a falling Pundy, and prepares to finish him off with a nasty-looking energy attack. Netta who unleashes a swirling blast of wind magic, aiming to end this quickly. This attack is called Tower Gale, and it is basically an invisible razor blade. Pundy dives and rolls, narrowly dodging the series of deadly wind rings. One of the blades just barely misses his head, a seriously close shave. He lands on his feet, proving he has got some moves beyond just being a meat shield. This assassin is genuinely shocked, wondering how Pundy saw his invisible attack. Pundy explains he cannot see it, but he can sense the magic and figured it was not just for show. After all, he has learned from the best, having been tricked by his master's traps before. Netta who just calls it dumb luck and throws a punch, clearly not a fan of being outsmarted. But Pundy meets him head-on with a kick, their clash shattering the concrete around them. This sheer force sends the assassin flying backward, completely caught off guard by the power. Pundy does not waste a second, immediately rushing in to press his advantage. They exchange a flurry of blows, moving so fast they are just blurs of motion. This killer lands a solid hit, sending Pundy spinning through the air. Using the momentum, Pundy kicks off a pillar to launch himself back into the fight. He is in a bind though, since the guy's too fast for spells and demon form is off limits. Netta who powers up another attack, his hand glowing with some nasty-looking wind energy. He unleashes a massive, concentrated blade of pure slicing power. Pundy can only watch in horror as the attack screams toward him, and it connects, sending a spray of blood and shattered glass everywhere, a direct hit. Pundy lies on the ground in a pool of his own blood, that last attack hitting its mark. He is kicking himself for not only risking his life but failing to protect his master's friend. Meanwhile, the assassin gloats that his invisible blade is not just a one-trick pony. But just then, a system notification pops up. Yan Yongking has shared a skill to reverse summon him. Netta who moves in for the final blow, a nasty grin on his face as he says die. With his last bit of strength, Pundy activates the reverse summon for the Demon Lord. Dark energy swirls around him as he apologizes for his failure, thinking this is the end. This killer is just left staring at an empty spot on the floor, completely baffled by the vanishing act. Across the garage, a portal opens and out steps Yan Yongking, with Pundy and the target safe behind him. This assassin cannot believe it, sweating because he did not even see the guy move. Yan Yongking immediately starts roasting his friend, asking how a tank could possibly get so wrecked. This injured guy Dingfeng is just glad to be alive thanks to Pundy's last-minute save. Netta who realizes this newcomer is actually his second target, who just walked right into the trap. Our boy just holds up a finger, telling the professional killer to wait his turn to speak, the absolute nerve. That little bit of disrespect is enough to make the assassin absolutely lose his cool. Yan Yongking orders Pundy to get Dingfeng to safety, promising to heal them both up later. Cracking his knuckles with a loud pop, he gets ready to throw down properly. He then vanishes in a blur of motion, closing the distance in a fraction of a second. This assassin throws a punch, furious at this blatant display of arrogance, and Yan Yongking meets it with a flaming fist of his own, ready to teach him some manners. Yan Yongking's flaming fist connects, absolutely rocking the assassin's jaw, and sends Netta who spiraling through the air like a ragdoll, completely out of control. He slams into a concrete pillar with enough force to shatter it on impact, leaving the so-called professional killer on one knee inside his own personal crater. Netta who is spitting blood, completely enraged that he got hit so hard, and he is racking his brain trying to figure out who this powerhouse even is. Realizing he is outmatched in raw power, he decides it is time to get serious. But Yan Yongking is already on him again, launching a lightning-fast kick, which the assassin can barely even register, stunned by the sheer speed. Suddenly, Netta who gets a wicked grin, announcing our boy has walked right into his trap. As glowing blue energy chains erupt from the floor, snaring Yan Yongking's leg, this trap instantly immobilizes him, wrapping him in tendrils of crackling light, and the assassin starts gloating about pinning him like some kind of lab rat. He then gives a whole lecture on how fights are about tactics, not just power, smugly declaring a veteran cannot lose to a newbie right before he starts sweating bullets, because a brilliant golden light suddenly erupts from Yan Yongking's body, shattering the energy restraints like they were made of cheap glass. Netta who is just floored, realizing some kind of holy shield just nullified his entire plan. With his demon eyes glowing, Yan Yongking calls him a disappointment, saying his grandma hits harder, and that one comment is enough to make the professional killer absolutely terrified. Yan Yongking tells him he is not even worth killing and to deliver a message to his guild. This so-called professional is just seething, completely speechless at the sheer disrespect. His hands start trembling with pure rage as our boy casually turns his back on him. Screaming not to be looked down on, Netta who powers up for one last desperate attack. He unleashes his bright blade, a full power slash meant to vaporize his target. A massive web of slicing energy tears through the parking garage, shredding everything in its path. Without even looking back, Yan Yongking just calls him an idiot for trying so hard to die. This attack slams home, sending chunks of concrete flying in a huge impact. A massive explosion of dust and debris completely engulfs the entire area. When the smoke finally clears, there is nothing left but a brand new crater. But Yan Yongking is standing there without a single scratch, critiquing his damage output. On his knees, the assassin pulls out a nasty-looking demon dagger for his final gambit. Our boy's eyes just narrow slightly, finally giving this new weapon a shred of his attention. Netahu hurls the blade with everything he has, screaming to see if this will finally work. Yan Yongking just calls the whole thing futile, reaching out a hand like he is catching a frisbee. That cursed dagger flies straight for his heart, glowing with an evil, deadly aura. And he catches it bare-handed, stopping the unstoppable, demon-slaying sword cold. With the blade inches from his chest, Yan Yongking just gives him a look that says, "Is that all?" This legendary weapon then starts to crack and crumble apart in his grip, its power completely broken. Netahu can only stare in absolute horror as his trump card disintegrates, muttering that it is impossible. With the dagger gone, Yan Yongking just casually follows up with a kick straight to the assassin's jaw, which sends Netahu blasting through a concrete barrier and into the sky like a bottle rocket. This guy is in total shock, wondering how a second shield managed to shatter his legendary sword. As they both fall, the professional looks a lot less composed than our boy, who has already won. He starts begging for his life, threatening that the Zhu Scorpion Guild will come for revenge. But Yan Yongking just deadpans that they already sent him, asking and then, with zero fear, that one simple question is enough to drain all the color from the assassin's face. A massive vortex of red demonic energy starts swirling around Yan Yongking's fist. He then brings it down with absolute finality, ready to end this little spat for good. This scene suddenly pulls back to a mountain range, showing the true scale of this attack. It completely obliterates the top of a mountain in a massive, earth-shattering explosion. Netahu is caught right in the middle of that blast, getting absolutely atomized. From a safe distance, Pundi and Dingfeng just watch the smoke rise from the new crater. Pundi is sweating bullets, realizing his master did not just copy his skills but made them stronger. Dingfeng corrects him, explaining it is just the basic game mechanic of a high-level player stat-checking a newbie. This revelation just makes Pundi grin like a maniac, thrilled about his master's potential for demon revival. A system notification pops up confirming Netahu's defeat and a measly 250 XP gain. He also gets the assassin's ashes, which can be used for demon conversion, a fun new hobby. Yan Yongking realizes killing other adventurers is way more efficient for leveling than grinding monsters, and with that grim thought, the scene cuts to the dark entrance of a level 3 dungeon. Inside that level 3 dungeon, a sword flashes down with deadly speed. And some poor masked soul can only watch in absolute terror. Getting sliced clean in half for his troubles, a perfect vertical split. This killer, a new guy in a trench coat, nets a measly 50 XP for the kill, and this psycho Zhu Yin complains he accidentally ended it too quickly, ruining the fun. He then turns to someone off-screen, sarcastically noting his second brother is working hard. That brother, a guy in a pink suit, asks what brings him here since he hates leveling. This new guy, Zhu Tong, then asks why he covers his victims' faces, afraid of nightmares. Zhu Yin scoffs at the idea, explaining it is so he can focus entirely on their eyes, because watching the life fade gives him the ultimate thrill. Okay, this guy's a keeper. Done with the creepy monologue, he cuts to the chase, asking his brother what he really wants. Zhu Tong reveals he is here to deliver some XP, knowing his brother's twisted hobby. And he shows him a picture of Yan Yongking on his phone, offering him up as a high-value target. Meanwhile, at a completely normal-looking apartment building, Yan Yongking is relaxing on the couch while Dingfeng is already back to intense training. Our boy points out he just finished healing him, questioning the immediate 50 kg lift. Dingfeng says it helps him recover, then asks why Yan Yongking is not out grinding dungeons. To which our boy smugly explains he does not have to, his minions are farming XP for him 24/7, and we see his demon army tearing through a level 6 devil's lair on his behalf, with a demonic commander roaring at them to keep up the pace. Pundi, now a demon commander, sits on his rock throne yelling at his minions to work harder. His new army of demons is busy tearing through the dungeon landscape for their master. But one of the demons in a suit calls him out for just sitting there barking orders. A knight-like demon immediately threatens the guy for his backtalk, ready to enforce the hierarchy. Pundi pulls the seniority card, claiming he has been with the master the longest, so he is the boss. Meanwhile, the dumb bug he just insulted charges past, clearly on a mission. To settle the argument, Pundi proposes a little competition to prove who is top dog. They will see who can farm the most XP for Yan Yongking, a productivity contest from hell. With the challenge set, the demons turn their attention to an incoming horde of imps. Pundi immediately unleashes a massive fire breath attack to get a head start on the scoreboard. His attack carves through the enemy ranks, racking up a long list of XP gains. A massive swirling vortex of destruction is all that is left of the imp front line. These imps are literally vaporized down to their skeletons before turning to dust. Talk about overkill. He is pretty impressed with himself, gloating about how much stronger his new demonic form is. Of course, while he is monologuing, an imp gets a cheap shot in from the side. Another one swings a club at his back, reminding him that dungeons are a 360-degree problem. This suit demon mocks him for being too busy stealing kills to even watch his own back. He then calls Pundi out for wasting so much mana on one big Aya attack. With a smug grin, he reveals that Pundi is not the only one with area of effect skills, and he proves it by firing a razor-thin energy beam that slices an imp clean in two. Not to be outdone, the suit demon unleashes his own spinning blade attack on the horde, unleashing his invisible blade, grounded slash with a seriously intense look, which absolutely shreds through the imps in a whirlwind of death and XP notifications. He then smugly asks Pundi how his AF feels now that there is some real competition. But before Pundi can even answer, the Night Demon steps up to the plate, thanking the suit guy for conveniently gathering all the enemies in one spot. Oh no. Pundi is absolutely losing his mind, screaming that this is a masterclass in kill stealing, as the Night Demon calls down a massive pillar of holy fire from the heavens. His holy flash vaporizes everything in sight, racking up an insane amount of XP. Meanwhile, back in the real world, Yan Yongking is just casually strolling as XP floods his vision. He smirks, realizing his demonic employees have started a productivity war for his benefit. Suddenly, a voice calls his name from a swirling purple portal that has just opened up. Yan Yongking turns, looking a little curious about who is showing up unannounced, and out steps a level 5 dwarven warrior named Dov, looking ready for a fight. Our boy whispers to his friend, asking about the dwarf, and gets warned they are super greedy. This dwarf immediately slams his hammer down, angrily denying the stereotype. He then proudly declares that while dwarves are greedy, their loyalty is even stronger, a classic PR spin. This friend reassures Yan Yongking they are trustworthy guild members, so he just goes with it. But there is a problem, they only have 3 people for a 5-person dungeon. With a sly grin, his buddy just tells him to look up for the rest of the party. And looking up, they find the 4th member is a giant woman who is currently blushing up a storm. This level 5 giant archer, Eileen, towers over them as the friend gawks at her impressive height. She immediately gets shy and hides behind a massive boulder she was apparently just carrying around. This buddy just laughs, explaining that despite her size, she is actually incredibly timid. Yan Yongking is still counting heads, asking where their 5th and final party member is. A voice from off-screen apologizes for being late, blaming the one thing adventurers fear most: traffic. This whole crew turns to see who is making such a lame excuse for their tardiness, and it is none other than Zhu Yin, the psycho killer from before, casually waving hello. This guy is internally gloating about disguising his level, thinking these newbies see him as a total weakling. His friend vouches for him, spinning a sob story about a rough past and calling him a strong support character. Yan Yongking's instincts are screaming though, noting that while he looks level 4, something feels deeply wrong. Zhu Yin just smirks, fully aware he is playing a very dangerous game right under their noses. Their destination is a level 6 dungeon, the Enchanted Forest, which looks anything but enchanting. With the party finally assembled, the 5 of them head into the swirling vortex of doom. This scene then flashes back 2 hours earlier, showing the apartment building where this all started. Yan Yongking was checking his phone, realizing this new dungeon has a boss he is perfectly suited to counter. He tells his buddy to send the coordinates while he gets a team together, sending him on his way. His friend reaches for the apartment door, ready to head out and do some quick recruiting. But instead of a hallway, the door opens into a creepy, mist-filled forest. That is not right. He just stares out at the silhouettes of the party, realizing this dungeon run is already going sideways. This friend is already getting the creeps, but Yan Yongking just shrugs it off as standard dungeon ambience. To calm his nerves, he is offered what looks like a giant, magical beach ball on a stick. It is from Eileen, the giant archer, who explains it is a lollipop for when she gets anxious, a solid coping mechanism. This guy rightly points out her lollipop is basically a war hammer, which is a fair assessment. Yan Yongking's sharp eyes suddenly notice that their party count has dropped by 1. He immediately asks where Dov went because of course the greedy dwarf has already wandered off. Elsewhere, Dov is having the absolute time of his life, losing his mind over a discovery. He has found a massive cave of blue magic ore, and his inner greed goblin is screaming with joy. Wasting zero time, he starts hacking away at the crystals, the actual mission completely forgotten. He spots even more gems deeper in the cave, his eyes literally turning into hearts. This entire cavern is just glittering with wealth, and he is already dreaming of rarer finds. Having completely abandoned his team, he stands alone on a cliff, ready to dive deeper. And then he sees it, a massive cluster of super rare yellow minerals, the ultimate prize. His face contorts with pure unadulterated avarice, all rational thought now officially offline. With a triumphant roar, he leaps down to claim his treasure, yelling that it is all his. He brings his pickaxe down with all his might, ready to crack open his retirement fund. But it just clangs off the surface with a loud thud, not even making a dent. Dov just stands there completely baffled as yellow sparks fly from the point of impact. He looks up in total confusion, wondering what in the world he just tried to mine. Meanwhile, the rest of the party is still looking for him, correctly guessing he got distracted by shiny things. A loud noise suddenly cuts through the silence, and Yan Yongking's buddy whips around, asking what is going on. He then points up to a distant ridge, spotting a familiar silhouette. It is their runaway dwarf. And Dov is sprinting for his life, screaming in absolute, unfiltered terror. He's being chased by a swarm of tiny, glowing stone golems, which is just embarrassing. This friend just smirks, mocking him for being scared of a few trash mobs as he draws his sword. But what he does not see is the massive, horned shadow looming right behind the dwarf. It is a level 7 rare boss, a weeping wraith, and it is comically, terrifyingly huge. Both the friend and the psycho killer Zhu Yin are just staring, jaws on the floor. Zhu Yin is internally fuming, realizing the dwarf just summoned a bigger threat and ruined his murder plans. He quickly decides that his own life is way more valuable than some measly kill XP. Turns out, Dov's little mining expedition disturbed the boss's glowing green lair, which promptly erupts in a massive explosion of what looks like pure toxic energy. This blast carves a huge crater in the ground, sending the entire party running for cover. But the weeping wraith just casually snatches the friend right out of the air like a ragdoll. Its face contorts into a furious roar, its eyes and mouth glowing with deadly power, and it unleashes a massive torrent of green poison breath straight at the ground. This attack is a massive area of effect blast, about to vaporize the entire party. Just then, a foot slams down with absolute certainty someone's making a move. This friend is losing his mind, screaming that there is no way to dodge an attack that wide. But Yan Yongking steps forward, activating a light shield and telling everyone to get behind him. Yan Yongking's light shield manifests as a massive golden cross, barely holding back the toxic tide. This corrosive green acid just splashes against the holy barrier, sizzling and steaming on impact. But his hand trembles as cracks start to form. This shield is not going to last much longer. This level 7 boss's attack is simply too powerful, melting right through his defenses, and with a final shatter, the shield completely gives way to the toxic onslaught. His friend can only watch in horror as the poison erupts all around them. Yan Yongking quickly realizes his level 5 skills are no match for this, and the party is about to get wiped. So he switches tactics, activating a switch summon with some seriously sinister-looking energy. Dark red tendrils of power swirl at his feet, preparing to call in some unexpected backup. This rest of the party just stares, completely baffled by this sudden demonic light show, and out pops Rark, the dumb bug from before, now looking like a proper demonic tank. Dov is having a full-on meltdown, unable to process how a low-level adventurer is summoning actual demons. Without missing a beat, Yan Yongking orders his new minion to dig an escape tunnel for the team. Rark immediately slams into the ground, carving out a massive hole with pure demonic force. As they all peer into the new escape route, his friend asks what Yan Yongking is going to do. Our boy just gives a cool "do not worry about me" wave, the classic hero sacrifice pose. This team scrambles down the tunnel, but the friend is already having second thoughts about leaving him behind. Eileen bluntly explains that once the shield drops, the poison will flood the tunnel, trapping him up there for good. But Zhu Yin, ever the snake, just tells everyone to relax because Yan Yongking is about to level up. Yeah, right. Back on the surface, the weeping wraith looms over a bubbling puddle of acid where our hero used to be. Meanwhile, Zhu Yin is perched on a cliff, having successfully abandoned his entire team. He is patting himself on the back for running away, calling his now-dead party members idiots. This weeping wraith stares down at the fizzling green energy, probably wondering why there is no corpse. Its glowing eyes narrow, sensing that its ultimate attack somehow completely failed to kill anyone, and there is Yan Yongking standing completely untouched in the center of the blast zone. Awkward. Zhu Yin absolutely loses it, screaming about how a level 5 just tanked a level 7 rare boss skill. His brain is just short-circuiting, trying to figure out how any of this is even possible. Then, to add insult to injury, Yan Yongking gets a level up notification right in front of everyone. His flame shield even gets a sweet upgrade to flame armor, which is just a persistent damage sponge. From his sad little coward cliff, Zhu Yin just stares, his confusion now reaching critical levels. He is having a full-blown panic attack, screaming that you cannot level up without fighting. What is happening? This scene flashes back 5 minutes, revealing one of Yan Yongking's demonic employees looking absolutely feral. Turns out his minions have been busy conquering some hellscape in his name. They have just finished clearing a massive pit of mobs, funneling all that sweet XP directly to their boss. Back in hell, the Night Demon notes that Rark just got summoned, and the Suit Demon is immediately intrigued. This guy is practically vibrating with excitement, begging to get summoned into a real fight himself. Back in the present, Yan Yongking squares up against the giant wraith, ready for round 2. This boss lets out an angry huff, clearly not happy about its failed insta-kill. It raises its colossal foot, aiming to turn our boy into a fine paste on the cavern floor. But Yan Yongking just casually sidesteps, already analyzing its weak points like a pro. Yan Yongking digs his sword in, barely deflecting the wraith's massive stomp with a shower of sparks. This sheer force of his block actually sends the giant boss tumbling backward, completely off balance. It crashes to the ground with a world-shaking thud as our boy scrambles to get some distance. With a flick of his wrist, he summons a new weapon, 2 golden hilts flying right into his hand, which combine into a ridiculously oversized greatsword crackling with holy energy. Talk about an upgrade. He then launches himself into the air, soaring towards the downed boss like a golden missile. From above, he prepares to bring the pain, aiming the massive blade right at the wraith's face. This sword connects with a brutal smash, sending shockwaves through the monster's stone head. Stunned, the wraith sits up, looking more confused than hurt by the sudden turn of events. It tries to counter, its hands glowing with power, but it is way too slow for what is coming next. Yan Yongking is already winding up again, spinning like a top to build momentum for the finisher. He dives straight down, a blur of golden light aimed directly at the boss's weak point. Pouring every last drop of mana into the attack, he unleashes a holy light flash at max power. This blade, now burning like the sun, plunges deep into the wraith's skull with a decisive strike. Its body completely disintegrates into a swirling vortex of dust, leaving the party watching in awe. Dov is having an aneurysm over level 6 soloing a level 7 boss, but his friend just smirks. But Yan Yongking stands in the aftermath, feeling like something is seriously wrong with this picture. He notes that the fight was way too easy for a rare boss, barely draining any of his mana. Suddenly, a strange green energy starts bubbling up from the ground where the wraith fell. And it solidifies into a glowing green crystal, the true prize of this very weird boss fight. This boss's remains start swirling back together because of course it is not dead yet. This whole area just erupts in a geyser of pure, concentrated toxic energy. His flame armor kicks in automatically, but a low mana warning flashes, this is gonna be rough. And the green energy just keeps pulsing outwards, getting more and more intense. Out of the chaos, a massive shadow claw swipes at him, forcing a desperate dodge. He is down to fumes, realizing his flame armor is about to give out any second now. Now the entire battlefield is choked with a thick, steaming poison fog. Meanwhile, the party correctly guesses the fog is just the acid evaporating from his fire shield. His friend is starting to sweat, realizing Yan Yongking is in way over his head. He points out this is a classic second phase and wonders why our boy is not calling for backup. But Yan Yongking is just stalling, waiting for his minions to hit level 7 from their off-screen grind. Somewhere in the mist, the boss silently repositions, using the fog to its advantage. His eyes dart around, trying to pinpoint the monster's location before it strikes. He lobs a fireball into the fog, a desperate attempt to flush the boss out. This little ball of flame cuts through the green haze, searching for a target. It just explodes harmlessly in the distance, revealing absolutely nothing. And that is when he realizes the fireball was a diversion as a hand emerges from the fog. This massive claw lunges out of the mist, catching him completely by surprise. He clocks the boss's strategy, drain his armor with close combat, but he has got a trick up his sleeve. Its hand slams down but connects with a flash of light. He is not going down that easy. This wraith's eyes lock onto him, absolutely furious that he is still standing. Yan Yongking answers with a massive swing of his holy greatsword, a blur of golden light. He scrambles up the cavern wall, parrying a claw swipe with a burst of holy energy. Back with the party, the fog finally clears and his friend points out the absolute chaos. This guy just gives a casual wave, calling out to Yan Yongking like nothing is wrong. He explains that Dav and Eileen went back for ore because of course the dwarf did. They apparently went back down the escape tunnel Rark had so conveniently provided, and there is Dav laughing like a madman while stuffing his bag with shiny blue crystals. He shoves his hand into a crevice, grabbing the biggest, most valuable-looking ore he can find. But a foot suddenly stomps down, pinning the crystal right under his greedy little fingers. It is Eileen, towering over him and demanding to know why he is stepping on her asterisk magic ore. She looks genuinely confused, asking what exactly he thinks he is picking up. This dwarf just stares back, completely baffled by her question. Then his face contorts in pure terror as the illusion finally shatters around him. Turns out this ore deposit is actually a massive pit filled with skeletons. Dav loses his mind, realizing he has been desecrating the tomb of a dwarven king. He's been trying to stuff literal skulls and bones into his magic bag this whole time. This dwarf is left kneeling amidst the skeletal remains, his greed-fueled hallucination gone. He finally figures out he was under a charm spell the moment he entered the dungeon. Eileen then asks why she was not affected, and she has absolutely no clue either. Eileen's brilliant theory is that the poison gas got the dwarf because he is short, peak scientific analysis right there. His friend, completely oblivious, tells Yan Yongking he is gonna go round up the others to leave, but he gets no response, just a blank stare, and the guy starts to get a little weirded out. He reaches out to get his attention, calling his name, and his hand phases right through him. Turns out he's been talking to a ghost this whole time. Suddenly, blood starts dripping from the ceiling, splattering all over him and shattering the illusion. His eyes go wide with pure terror as he realizes something is horribly, horribly wrong. Looking up, he sees the real Yan Yongking collapsed on a pile of rocks way in the distance. This kid is just completely out of it, leaving his friend to wonder how he got over there so fast. Then he notices his own arm is missing, wondering who cut it off since the boss was supposed to be dead. That shock finally hits him as he stares at the bloody stump where his arm used to be. Floating above him is a new demon lady, casually holding his severed limb, so that is where it went. This whole scene is a disaster. Yan Yongking is down, his friend is bleeding out, and the real boss has finally shown up. She is super interested in Yan Yongking's demonic aura, wanting to study him for his secrets. So she swoops down to grab our unconscious hero, ready to start her research. But a giant warhammer comes flying out of nowhere, aimed right at her face. She just barely blocks the surprise attack, the impact sending a massive shockwave through the air. This blow sends her reeling backward, giving Yan Yongking a much-needed breather. And the hammer returns to its owner. It is the night demon from hell, finally getting his wish to be summoned. He lands and immediately sees the friend bleeding out on the ground, taking stock of the battlefield. This night demon puts it together. They were poisoned, fighting their own hallucinations the entire time. He grips his warhammer, absolutely furious that he arrived too late to stop the carnage. Meanwhile, the demon lady is just confused, wondering why a dwarf is here instead of collecting fake ore. Suddenly, a warhammer comes screaming through the air right at her head. It smashes into the ground with incredible force as she barely leaps out of the way. She assumes it is the tall female hunter Eileen, who is just really, really good at hiding. But then the night demon, who she is seeing as a dwarf, comes flying in for a direct assault. He brings his hammer down with a massive, earth-shattering overhead swing, and she just casually catches it with one hand, mocking his lower-level total boss move. Her hand starts glowing with toxic energy, ready to make him regret ever showing up. His eyes go wide in pure shock as the blast hits him point blank. This wave of green power sends him flying backward across the cavern floor. From a safe distance, Eileen watches the whirlwind of energy, probably rethinking her life choices. This demon lady scoffs at the ambush attempt, not noticing the hammer spinning back for round 2, but the night demon is already back on his feet, grabbing her ankle to hold her in place. She is completely stunned, wondering how he is still alive after taking a direct hit. He holds on tight, his armor crackling, telling her she is not escaping this time. Trapped, she looks up in horror as the returning hammer fills her entire vision, and it connects with a brutal, face-rearranging impact, sending shockwaves everywhere. Turns out, dwarves have a stone skin skill, which was just enough to tank her toxic attack and buy him an opening. So that is how he survived, a stone skin skill that just ignores toxic damage for 5 seconds. This demon lady stumbles away, literally headless, while the night demon is still down for the count. Her head, however, just reforms out of smoke, her hands crackling with some nasty-looking green energy. With a sneer, she unleashes rapid corrosion on the hammer, intending to melt it into a puddle of slag. From the bushes, Eileen takes a shot, but is stunned when her arrow does absolutely nothing. Even the night demon is shocked, realizing he is completely fine after taking that point-blank blast. Our boss just scoffs, mocking the low-level adventurers for even trying, still under the illusion, I see. Then she just erupts in a massive wave of toxic power, ready to end this little game. Eileen screams out for Dov, seeing the night demon she thinks is her friend in the line of fire. That shout gives away her position, and the demon lady immediately locks onto her, a predator spotting its prey. A poison beam charges up at her fingertip because of course she has a finger gun made of acid. This lethal green laser zips through the trees, aimed right at Eileen's hiding spot. It connects with a huge explosion, sending Eileen flying through the air like a ragdoll. With the distractions gone, she turns her attention back to Yan Yonking, ready to start her research. Yet she pauses, noticing the night demon's body is gone and wondering how he could have survived. On top of that, Yan Yonking is also missing from the pile of rocks where he was left. A trail of blood leads away from the scene and she follows it, clearly annoyed. It leads her right to Yan Yonking's one-armed friend who is carrying our unconscious boy to safety. This guy is bleeding everywhere but still manages to haul his friend through the woods. That is dedication. But the demon lady catches up, telling them escape is impossible as she prepares another blast. She unleashes another poison beam, dead set on finishing them both off for good. But his friend takes the full blast, using his own body as a shield for Yan Yonking. This guy just gets absolutely disintegrated, a final look of shock on his face, and the whole area erupts in a geyser of toxic green light. Our demon lady scoffs, annoyed she accidentally killed her special adventurer research project. From within the smoke, a hand appears as a voice says he has figured out her little trick. It is Yan Yonking, not only alive but now level 7. Wait, where'd his friend go? This demon lady is completely stunned, demanding to know where he got the experience from. Meanwhile, in another dungeon, his minion has just taken down the final boss. This little guy is super proud, announcing his liege has finally hit the level he needed. Back in the fight, Yan Yonking explains he never felt any real killing intent from her, because the entire party has been hallucinating from poison gas since they walked in. Now he summons his own power, a swirling ball of pink energy ready to go. Revealing his flames can now ignite the poison, a skill that was suppressed at his lower level. This demon lady is not having it, firing another massive poison blast his way. It slams into the ground right in front of him, erupting in a toxic explosion. She is completely losing her cool, screaming while unleashing a volley of poison liquid bullets. Our boy just casually weaves through the storm of acid, dodging every single shot, then closes the distance in a flash, delivering a brutal kick right to her stomach. That impact sends her flying backwards, smashing into the ground with devastating force. But she is already healing from that kick, green energy stitching her back together instantly. Yan Yonking is stunned, realizing she has some kind of high-speed regeneration magic. And she is absolutely furious, not because she is losing, but because it'll leave a scar, a tragedy for her bikini body. Our boy is not impressed, charging up his own swirling ball of fiery pink energy. He meets her poison blast head-on, and the two attacks collide in a massive explosion. She gloats from inside the smoke, explaining his flames just turn her poison into a deadly gas. Yan Yonking just smirks back, completely unbothered by her little science lesson. Then he unleashes his own move. Ignition of Time Flame right in her face. Her smug expression instantly turns to pure terror as the flames completely engulf her. This whole area just erupts in a massive pink inferno, a beautiful, deadly light show. When the smoke clears, Yan Yonking is the only one left standing on the scorched earth. He gets a cool 400 experience points for the win, which feels a little low, honestly. Down in the crater, the demon lady's body dissolves into nothing but black smoke. But it was just another illusion. She is already reforming, thinking she has fooled him again. Her new plan is to retreat, recover, and then come back to pick off his friends one by one. Just as she is about to make her escape, a strange blue light flashes across her vision. Suddenly, she is zapped from above, screaming about a sixth person joining the ambush. A demonic hand slams down beside her. Wait, now there is a seventh person. Before she can even process it, a massive demonic creature grabs her from behind. She is completely losing it, screaming about where all these people are suddenly coming from. A massive red energy slash carves through the air, slamming right into the demon lady. She gets blasted backward by a wave of pink and white energy, completely overwhelmed. Then a green beam shoots up from below and she screams about an eighth attacker joining the party. Before she can even react, a giant monster maw opens up to swallow her whole. Cut to some random beetle thing just minding its own business, looking very confused. Suddenly, a red demonic fist just wallops it right in the side of the head. Turns out the beetle ate the boss, and now his new demon friends are demanding he spit her out for the liege. So the beetle monster just unceremoniously hawks her up, covered in monster drool. Yan Yonking appears, calmly noting that she is still breathing after all that. His other demonic minions are just standing around, looking at him for instructions. They all bow before him, addressing him as their liege. The whole squad is here. But the demon lady refuses to submit to a human, saying she'd rather die than bow. Yan Yonking just raises a sword and tells her to get on with it then, completely unimpressed. Her tough guy act immediately cracks as she stares down the blade, realizing he is serious. A flash of light envelops her as she has a sudden, life-altering change of heart. His other minions just look down on her, welcoming another piece of trash to the team. And just like that, she is in a new form, kneeling obediently at his feet. She bows her head, fully submitted, another powerful demon added to his growing army. His stats confirm the upgrade. His demonic form is stronger and he has gained her venom spray and venom field as minion skills. He also gets a tier of venom orb and other magic materials for crafting some sweet new gear. Meanwhile, one of his minions is just vibing, loving the feeling of getting stronger alongside his boss. Just then, Yan Yonking spots Eileen in the distance, carrying one of their fallen party members. She is in tears, screaming that her friends are in critical condition after the fight. Having used all her potions, she is out of options, but Yan Yonking steps in to take over the healing. His night demon minion immediately volunteers, insisting his lead should not have to handle such trivial matters. A wave of golden healing energy erupts from the demon's hands. It washes over the injured adventurers, with the minion noting they'd be fully healed if they just had enough XP to level up. Eileen then gets confused, wondering where all the boss's stone minions disappeared to. His newest recruit, the Venom Lady, immediately tries to score points by revealing the location of secret treasure chests. Another minion just glares, already annoyed at how cunning the new girl is. The office politics have begun. This healing light continues to mend the party members' wounds, stabilizing them for now. Yan Yonking sees their lives are no longer in danger, but their severed limbs will need a high-level priest to restore. He tells Eileen to escort them out and find a grand priest, promising to cover all the costs. To be safe, he assigns his new Venom demoness, Netta Hu, to act as their bodyguard. She is absolutely thrilled to get an escort mission, while he tells his other demons to follow him to the treasure. Our boy figures Eileen's group will be fine with a level 7 demon watching their backs. So Eileen heads off, carrying the still unconscious night demon with her new demonic escort in tow. This demoness asks why she draped a cloth over the dwarf, and Eileen blushes, saying his armor was dissolved. This logic is completely lost on the demon, who thinks teammates are meant to be used naked or not, peak demonic HR policy. She then opens up some kind of portal in the ground, ready to get them out of there. A pair of glowing red eyes flares with demonic rage, signaling an ambush is in full swing. One of Yan Yonking's minions crashes into the ground like a meteor, shattering the stone floor. But a heavy chain immediately lashes out, wrapping around his fist and stopping him cold. This chain yanks him backward through the air, completely catching him off guard. He realizes his attacker is another ambush specialist, just like him, as their powers collide. Suddenly, he is trapped in a massive web of chains, completely immobilized in the air. From below, Netta Hu shouts up, offering to cut him free from the trap. This demon minion just scoffs, telling her to watch her own back instead of worrying about him. She turns around, startled, to find a shadowy figure with glowing red eyes right behind her. And there is the culprit, some creep with a shark-toothed grin who is enjoying this way too much. His chains tighten, crushing the trapped demon minion in a vortex of dark energy. This minion struggles against the bindings, sparks flying as he tries to break free. Netta Hu is frozen in shock, with the new villain looming over her, totally outmatched. This guy smirks, saying he was hoping they'd show up, confirming it was all a setup. Meanwhile, Yan Yonking's team hits the jackpot, opening a chest full of glowing magic crystals. One of his minions is just gushing about her liege's incredible luck, completely oblivious to the danger. Yan Yonking, however, is not celebrating, his face tense with a sudden sense of dread. This minion tries to cheer him up, promising even better loot ahead. Girl, please read the room. He cuts her off, explaining Netta Hu and the others are under attack and giving her new orders. With a nod, she teleports away to handle the treasure while he prepares to go save his crew. Netta Hu is down for the count, bleeding out as the ambusher's shadow falls over her. Up above, the chain-wielding villain stands over one of Yan Yonking's trapped minions. This minion is stuck in some kind of black tar, realizing the whole escape route was a setup. This ambusher gloats that it is a magic-reinforced trap, and there is absolutely no way out. Introducing Zhu Yin, a level 7 hunter who plans to kill the minion then wait to gank his master. Our demon minion is absolutely livid, but Zhu Yin just scoffs, thinking he is faking his rank. This guy then gives a whole lecture on how you cannot fake a higher level in this system, so smug about it. So the minion asks what level he looks like. as a terrifying demonic face materializes right behind Zhu Yin. Zhu Yin is completely floored, realizing the minion is actually level 7 and cannot process the math. Turns out this traitor was already level 6 when he joined the party, and he did not just get the boss's XP. He asks with a truly punchable grin where all the dungeon's other minions disappeared to, because he secretly lured them all away and farmed them for solo XP. What a scumbag. This trapped demon finally gets it, then calls out to his liege, asking if he heard all that. Zhu Yin just mocks him, promising to deliver his last words before moving in for the kill. But just as he swings, a surge of red demonic energy erupts from the ground between them, and there is Yan Yongqing teleporting in and confirming he heard every single word. Zhu Yin's face just completely melts, realizing there is a skill that can reverse summon a master. With his liege here, the demon minion lunges forward, ready to tear this traitor apart for his disrespect. Yan Yongqing just calmly makes a hand sign, activating a trap of his own, and a massive stone pillar erupts from the ground, giving Zhu Yin a taste of his own medicine. This demon minion immediately lunges at the traitor, but Zhu Yin's already casting from the ground. With a massive downward arc, the minion brings his leg down in a devastating kick. But Zhu Yin is way too quick, easily dodging the attack and scrambling up the crater wall. This leaves the minion stranded at the bottom of a pit trap, a classic villain maneuver. Then a stone coffin called Trap, Lover's Embrace, erupts from the ground to seal him inside. Zhu Yin gloats that even though Yan Yongqing skipped the welcome mat, he had a whole set of traps ready. He calls this one the Coffin of Lover's Embrace, specially designed for his target. How thoughtful. And just like that, massive spikes shoot out from the inside, turning the coffin into an Iron Maiden. Zhu Yin checks his notifications, annoyed there is no XP pop-up, meaning his target is somehow still alive. Suddenly, a massive surge of red energy completely envelops him, wiping the smirk off his face. This whole area just explodes in a violent blast of raw demonic power. When the smoke clears, a massive molten demon hand is all that is left where the trap once stood. Turns out another minion preemptively summoned Yan Yongqing out, and now they are just wondering if the traitor is dead. But Yan Yongqing gets no XP notification, realizing the Zhu Yin they just vaporized was only a decoy. He scans the desolate landscape, trying to pinpoint where the real scumbag is hiding. And there he is, popping out of a disguised trap and bragging that the whole exit path is rigged. His monologue is cut short when he spots one of Yan Yongqing's demonic hounds right beside him. This traitor's smug face instantly melts into pure, unadulterated panic. He desperately tries to shush the demon, hoping it will not give away his hiding spot. Too late, the demon just grins, having found exactly who it was looking for. This demonic hound unleashes a massive beam of red energy, tearing a trench through the ground. It slams right into Zhu Yin's hiding spot, erupting in a huge explosion of demonic power. He gets blasted backward, tumbling through the air as the shockwave rips through the area. This guy complains about the fatty making him waste a substitute trap, already planning his next move. But a surge of dark energy suddenly erupts from below, catching him completely off guard. A massive crystalline red spike shoots up from the ground, aimed right at him. Black tar-like tendrils lash out from the spike, ready to ensnare him. More and more spikes erupt from the ground, turning the whole escape route into a death trap. This entire area becomes a forest of jagged spikes, a beautiful case of poetic justice. Zhu Yin sits there, stunned, realizing the Demon Knight triggered all his traps with one AI attack. His face just melts into pure terror as he realizes he has to escape, like right now. Just as he panics, a voice tells him he is not getting away. And there is Netta, who, back on her feet and ready for some serious payback. She unleashes a massive blast of her venom spray right at the cornered traitor. This toxic green energy surges forward, a beautiful sight for sore eyes. Yan Yongqing appears, casually asking if the XP notification he just got was another illusion. Netta Hu bows, assuring her lead she is fully reformed and back on the path of evil. With his team reassembled, Yan Yongqing declares it is time to settle the score for good. Zhu Yin, now a newly minted demon, just stares blankly as his new stats pop up. His new demonic teammates immediately surround him, welcoming the newbie to the squad. The hazing begins. With his new team assembled, Yan Yongqing gets ready to play manager and delegate some tasks. First up, Argus is assigned to heal Eileen's party and then go undercover as their guardian angel. Another group gets the glorious task of grinding XP, with strict orders to ignore all shiny loot. Finally, his attention turns to the newest, most punchable recruit, the traitor Zhu Yin. Our traitor is just seething, clearly not thrilled about his demonic career change. This plan is for him and Netta Hu to return to their old guilds as double agents, reporting their own deaths. And Zhu Yin is absolutely eating this up, calling the plan brilliant. He was born for this kind of work. Elsewhere, a random party is getting absolutely stomped by a giant mammoth boss, screaming for backup. Watching from the cliffs above is a lone figure just taking in the chaos below. This observer is Zhu Zai, a level 10 lizard man and guild leader, definitely a heavy hitter. Down below, the mammoth's foot is about to turn one of the adventurers into a pancake. A tank rushes in to intercept the blow, screaming for a healer to keep him alive. His priestess shouts at him to pop his defensive skill while she starts a long cast. With a roar, the warrior activates his ultimate unyielding shield, throwing up a massive energy barrier. This guy boasts he once held off a boss for a full minute with this famous last words. This mammoth's foot connects and that unyielding shield instantly starts to spiderweb with cracks, and there it goes, shattering into a million pieces as the mammoth plows right through it. Its stomp creates a massive crater, the shockwave just annihilating the entire area. His teammates just stare in horror, realizing their tank got one-shotted through his ultimate defense. Utterly terrified, the rest of the party just starts screaming that they are all doomed. This mammoth boss suddenly turns its head, its red eyes locking onto a new threat. Just in time too, as one of the adventurers points up, announcing their guild leader has arrived. And there he is, Zhuzai the lizard man, striking a pose on the cliff like a total show-off. This entire party immediately starts celebrating, absolutely convinced they have been saved. With a dramatic leap, Zhuzai dives off the cliff, rocketing down toward the battlefield. He slams into the mammoth's face with a punch that sends a shockwave through the ground. This guy unleashes his super gravity fist, a move that looks as ridiculous as it sounds. This blow sends the colossal beast stumbling backward, completely dazed by the impact. Not letting up, Zhuzai summons a volley of razor-sharp energy spikes in midair. These projectiles rain down, impaling the mammoth's back and making it howl in pain. Down below, the doomed party just gawks, completely floored by his overwhelming power. One of the women nervously asks if they are going to get caught in the crossfire. Her teammate just scoffs, assuring her they are standing far enough away to be safe. Oh honey, no. A split second later, the shockwave hits him square in the face, proving him very, very wrong. This blast then rips through their safe spot, catching the woman in a vortex of pure chaos. She is scrambling for her life as the ground literally erupts into jagged spikes behind her. Another party member gets swallowed by the shockwave, screaming that he does not want to die. Yeah, it turns out far enough away was a complete lie as the entire party gets annihilated. When the dust finally settles, all that is left of them is a smoking crater and some bloodstains. But hey, at least they drop some loot. A single glowing blue item sits in the rubble. A subordinate's foot comes down, crushing the last bit of evidence from the massacre. He casually strolls through the wreckage to pick up the single piece of loot that dropped. This guy thinks his guild leader is ruthless, which is really saying something coming from him. He then immediately starts sucking up to Zhuzai, who threatens to turn him into paste for being there. His brilliant PR plan is to just release a statement saying the dead guys were trespassers, problem solved. Zhuzai is completely over the flattery, demanding to know why his lackey is actually here. With a smug grin, the subordinate announces he has taken care of the Zhutai case all by himself. This lizard man just waves it off as trivial, telling him to bother someone else with the paperwork. But as his boss leaves, the guy wonders aloud if he is off to meet the angel again. Big mistake. A flash of pure, unadulterated rage appears in Zhuzai's reptilian eye, and the subordinate gets absolutely blasted for running his mouth, learning a valuable lesson about gossip. Now in a more draconic form, Zhuzai warns him to keep quiet or end up like the meat piles over there. He is left in the middle of a massive crater from a single casual backhand. Turns out this is Zhu Yin, our traitor, who is fuming that he is still getting owned while hoping his real liege levels up. Meanwhile, Zhuzai arrives at the Angel Temple, a place that looks way too holy for him. He kneels before his master, reporting that a loose end is tied up and asking for an epic dungeon key. This armored Lord Angel is not impressed, asking if an entire region of bosses was not enough of a reward. Zhuzai has to explain the game mechanics. After level 10, you cannot just farm low-level mobs for XP. He basically begs for more, citing all the dirty work he has done over the years for his boss. This attempt at a guilt trip backfires spectacularly as the angel just roars in fury. This Lord Angel brings a massive energy blade down, ready to execute Zhuzai for his backtalk, but a massive gate slams down, stopping the attack with a booming enough. This blade stops just inches from his head, leaving Zhuzai sweating profusely in his dragon form. His boss then goes on a whole power trip, reminding Zhuzai he saved his entire clan from adventurers. Back in his humanoid form, Zhuzai can only bow and agree, standing by the crater his boss just made. He is clearly fuming, completely humiliated but unable to do anything about it for now. Denied his key, the lizard man storms out of the temple, leaving a massive crack in the pavement from his rage. And that crack extends for what looks like miles, a testament to just how badly that meeting went. Realizing fighting the angel's guards is suicide, he decides to just buy a dungeon key at the market instead. His destination is a shady underpass where a crackling black portal opens up to greet him, and it seems we have got a new player on the scene, a guy in a hoodie stepping up to the portal. A masked guide emerges, asking if he is here for a key too, which definitely piques the newcomer's interest. This guide cuts him off, telling him to just come on in as our new guy steps into the shadowy entrance. Turns out he is only getting access because our favorite traitor, Zhu Yin, vouched for him. This guide lays down the ground rules, no fighting because a high-level mage is backing this whole operation. Our new guy immediately puts it together. They hid the adventurer black market inside a dungeon to avoid the angels. His guide confirms this is where you get rare loot, guessing he is here for a key since Zhu Yin already spilled the beans. In response, the newcomer just silently pulls out a massive gold bar from his pocket. This guide looks down at the offered gold, his attention now fully captured by the shiny bribe. He then gets all buddy-buddy, slinging an arm around the guide and calling the gold a little token of appreciation. This guide is super impressed with our new guy's savvy approach. Turns out a gold bar is the best icebreaker. He immediately offers to let him cut the line because a little bribery goes a long way, and what a line it is, just a massive queue of adventurers snaking into the distance. His new best friend explains they are all here for keys, offering some free tips to the supposed newbie. Turns out dungeon keys are the big endgame grind, only becoming a thing you need after level 10. He breaks down the tiers, starting with normal dungeons, the kiddie pool with no keys and trash loot. Then you have got advanced dungeons which need a key and offer slightly better rewards for more of a challenge. Epic dungeons are where it gets serious, with real boss fights, decent XP, and even better keys as rewards. At the top are legendary dungeons, a place where even pros get wiped out for the absolute best loot. Our boy asks if clearing a level 40 dungeon upgrades the key, and the guide confirms it does. He immediately puts it together: if keys can upgrade infinitely, then the level cap is a complete lie. But the guide reveals the catch: no one's ever found a dungeon past level 40, making higher keys useless trophies. This newcomer just sweats, realizing this whole system is one big, frustrating treadmill. He then remembers the guide mentioned 5 tiers and asks what the last one could possibly be. That is when things get grim. No one who enters a hell tier dungeon has ever come back alive. They finally arrive at the main event, a massive hall packed with adventurers ready to spend big. A slick-looking auctioneer steps up, announcing the dungeon key auction is officially open for business. First on the block is a level 10 advanced key with a starting bid of a cool 50,000. Some guy in the crowd immediately throws up his hand, shouting out the starting price without hesitation. And just like that, another bid shoots the price up to 70,000. This is gonna get expensive fast. A woman with a gem on her forehead jumps the bid to 80,000, looking absolutely shocked at herself. Our boy Yan Yonking clocks her immediately, wondering who this new face is in the crowd. Suddenly, some sinister red energy starts swirling around her feet, definitely not a good sign. This energy lashes out, wrapping around some poor guy who was apparently getting too close. And she just grabs him by the collar, clearly not in the mood for company today. His guide leans in, whispering that he should not bid since the profit margin is basically zero. He then points out Yan Yonking is only level 7, asking if he's got a death wish or something. This key ends up selling for a whopping 120,000 to some other bold adventurer, who is immediately swarmed by players begging to join his party, a total feeding frenzy. With that out of the way, the auctioneer moves on to the rest of the advanced keys. He claps his hands together with a flourish, ready to get this show on the road. After selling off all the cheap stuff, he announces it is time for the main event, and he unveils the grand prize, a level 10 epic dungeon key starting at 200,000. This crowd starts buzzing, weighing the insane risk against the promise of legendary loot. A couple of guys start swapping horror stories about a stealth team that got wiped trying to rush a boss. Then a single hand shoots up and a voice booms out a bid of 500,000. It is Zhu Zai, the Lizardman Guild leader, looking way too casual about dropping 500,000. This guide warns Yan Yonking that you need that level of power to even survive an epic run. Turns out this was all part of the plan. A flashback shows he was tipped off that Zhu Zai would be here. And when he asks if the guild leader would recognize him, the answer is a hard no. The guy's too important to know faces. Yan Yonking watches from the sidelines, wondering why the guild leader is suddenly so desperate to level up. His guide speculates that Zhu Zai's recent trip to the Angel Temple must have really set him off. With a smug look, Zhu Zai ups the bid to 600,000, daring anyone to even try and compete. But his confidence shatters when another bid comes in, leaving him completely stunned. It is the woman from before, looking way too pleased with herself as she enters the bidding war, and she just casually drops a cool million, sending the entire auction hall into a frenzy. Even Yan Yonking is blown away, muttering that the price is getting absolutely insane. This guide agrees, pointing out that spending 1 million on a level 10 key is a terrible investment. But he trails off with a knowing look, hinting there is more to this than just money. A sinister glint appears in Yan Yonking's eye as he realizes what is asterisk really going on here. He confidently steps up, declaring he has got this in the bag and no one else will dare bid now. Except someone does bid, and Zhu Zai is absolutely fuming as the price jumps to 1.5 million. He whips around to see his rival, the gem forehead lady, is the one driving up the price again. She just gives him a smug little wink, clearly enjoying getting under his reptilian skin. Not to be outdone, Zhu Zai throws up 2 fingers, raising the bid to a staggering 2 million. Without even blinking, she immediately counters with 2.1 million. This is personal now. This bids just keep escalating in a blur, flying past 3 and even 4 million in seconds. Now he is absolutely steaming, convinced she is just messing with him and vowing to make her pay. So he goes all in, slamming his hand down and roaring out a final bid of 5 million. This crowd just loses it, completely in awe that the strongest level 10 player just dropped that kind of cash. Zhu Zai smirks, daring her to outbid him and promising to fold immediately, a totally foolproof plan. So she calls his bluff instantly, leaving the lizardman completely speechless as his ego deflates. His brain just short-circuits, trying to calculate how he got played so hard and so fast. Then the rage hits, realizing she was just trolling him the entire time to make him broke. He starts screaming for her location, vowing to murder the nasty woman who embarrassed him. In the shadows, his threat escalates to killing her and everyone she has ever met, real mature. Meanwhile, Yan Yonking and his guide are back outside, the guide apologizing for the failed mission. This guy laments how some random woman just jumped in and ruined everything for them. But Yan Yongking just plays it cool, admitting that beating Zhu Zai's wallet was never gonna be easy anyway. His guide waves goodbye, promising to keep him in the loop for the next big auction. Just as the guide leaves, a swirling dark portal opens right at Yan Yongking's feet, and out steps the gem forehead lady who he congratulates for playing Zhu Zai like a fiddle. It was all a setup. She is just a little bummed they did not actually get to take the lizard's 5 million. Suddenly, a new voice cuts in and she whips around, completely startled. It is the auctioneer, looking way too smug for someone who just appeared out of nowhere. She immediately threatens to silence him for eavesdropping on their private villain monologue. Her eyes narrow with murderous intent, ready to make good on that threat. But his own eye glows with power, revealing he is way more than just a simple auctioneer. He calls her out as a demon enslaved by the Lich, and she cannot even deny it. Yan Yongking reveals he knew the auctioneer was a demon all along and used it for his plan. This auctioneer hands over a card loaded with 4 million, explaining it is the leftover cash from their little stunt. And Yan Yongking takes the card, calling it the seed money for the next phase of his grand plan. His demon partner then asks the million-dollar question, what about the key they were supposed to be getting? Just then, a phone dings with a $500,000 transfer. Seems they had a backup plan all along. A hooded assassin bows deeply, thanking his big boss for the payment. Turns out Yan Yongking just bought a key directly from some poor adventurer for a bargain price. This seller was the sole survivor of a party wipe, desperate to offload the cursed key, and someone was watching. From a nearby branch, a lizard transforms back into Zhu Zai, who has been spying the whole time. He learns the key is for a 5-person party, and with only 2 people inside, 3 slots are still open. So he grabs 2 of his armored goons, ordering them to follow him in and crash the dungeon. One of the guards is sweating buckets, knowing that going into a dungeon with his raging boss is a death sentence. But as Zhu Zai reaches for the portal, it flashes, request denied. The dungeon is suddenly full. He is absolutely furious, demanding to know how it filled up when only 2 people went in. His 2 guards, however, are on their knees, thanking the heavens for being miraculously spared. Defeated, Zhu Zai tells his men they will just run their own dungeon and deal with that woman later. Meanwhile, Yan Yongking thanks his own demonic crew for a job well done. Now revealed as a level 10 demon lord, he promises to power level his entire team. One of his allies confirms his disguise skill is flawless, allowing him to completely hide his true level. With a satisfied look, he clasps his hands, ready to announce a reward for their loyalty. He has unlocked a new skill to create a demon legion, letting his subordinates recruit their own minions. It is empire-building time. His newly empowered demonic crew is absolutely losing their minds with excitement. But his main partner immediately notices one of their guys, Pondi, has already vanished. Turns out the little round demon ditched them to start farming monsters, so much for teamwork. He explains the new rules. It is every demon for themselves, and whoever summons the most minions wins the boss's favor. Yan Yongking just watches his new legion immediately descend into a chaotic free-for-all. He then gets an update from his scout Neta Hu on the situation outside the dungeon. This report confirms Zhu Zai and his goons have entered their own dungeon to grind levels. Using a new stealth skill, Neta Hu decides to camp the exit and wait for them to emerge. Meanwhile, inside their own dungeon, one of his armored demons spots the first wave of monsters. It is a whole mine crawling with angry-looking rat men who are clearly not happy about visitors, and these level 10 rat-head miners look like they have had a very, very bad day. One of them spots the demon and immediately points, rallying the troops for a fight. A whole swarm of them drops from the ceiling, swarming the lone demon from all sides. This guy just smirks, completely unimpressed by the cannon fodder rushing to their doom. But then a weird green energy envelops him, leaving him totally confused for a second. This green light erupts in a massive explosion, clearing the entire area instantly. It was a powerful area of effect attack that wiped out all the miners in one shot. Now encased in a protective shield, the demon looks up to see who helped him. It was Pondi, the little round guy, looking way too pleased with his kill-stealing support spell. He then flies up to the armored demon, demanding a fire shield in return, because sharing is caring, I guess. This armored demon's partner is already complaining about getting sniped by their own teammates. Another demon unleashes a powerful breath attack as the glorious free-for-all gets even more chaotic. One calls the other shameless, who just fires back that shame is pretty useless for demons anyway. With a mighty roar, one of the demons leads his newly spawned minions into the fray, and Yan Yongking just kicks back, raking in passive X from his legion's glorious infighting. Meanwhile, in Zhu Zai's dungeon, his crew is fighting. Giant killer cockroaches, real epic stuff. One of his armored guards is clearly struggling, barely holding on against the disgusting swarm. Zhu Zai looms over his exhausted subordinate, calling him a piece of trash, great for morale. He then whines that his team is dying before the boss, taking all the credit for their survival. With his best evil overlord voice, he rallies the survivors to face the final challenge, which turns out to be a massive, three-eyed rat-head king who commands thousands of minions. Back with our boy, that same boss is already dead and his demons are leveling up on the corpse. Now level 11, Yan Yongking notes how he can just lie down and gain XP, the absolute dream. He dismisses the boss as too weak to even bother with, placing a hand on its body, and a swirling black void begins to form right where he touched the dead monster. This portal opens into a brand new level 11 epic dungeon. He is chaining them together. He orders his minions to clean up the loot for selling later, ever the efficient businessman. Then he just casually steps toward the new portal, ready for the next round of grinding. Inside, his demonic army is already swarming a new chained-up boss monster. This level-up notifications just keep popping as his crew tears through the higher-level dungeon. Yan Yongking hits another level up as a hand claws its way out of a dark portal he has just created. Now at level 19, he smugly remarks how easy these epic dungeons are, totally not jinxing it. Meanwhile, in Zhu Zai's dungeon, one of his guards is getting his head caved in while begging for help. His whole team is getting wiped by a level 14 Minotaur boss, and it is not a pretty sight. So Zhu Zai has to step in himself, lunging at the beast in his full lizard man form. This Minotaur roars in fury as it takes the hit head-on, and with one massive blow, the ground shatters and the boss is gone, but so is most of his team. He immediately starts trashing his surviving crew, calling them useless for dying in a level 15 dungeon. This guy is literally regretting his hiring decisions mid-dungeon, peak management material right there. But one of his terrified guards tries to warn him about something appearing right behind him. Zhu Zai just turns around, completely annoyed at being interrupted during his temper tantrum, just in time to see a massive, ominous purple portal crackle open in the air, out of which steps a level 22 Minotaur boss, making the last one look like a complete pushover. His guard is losing his mind since monsters are not supposed to be able to just walk through portals. Zhu Zai throws up a hand, ready to unleash another big attack and show this new boss who is in charge. This new Minotaur seems to be reeling from the psychic pressure of his spell, and he unleashes a massive wave of force that absolutely devastates the area. Except the boss is completely unscathed, leaving Zhu Zai absolutely stunned. His face just screams, "I have made a huge mistake," as the reality of the situation sinks in, because the Minotaur just walks out of the smoke, red eyes glowing without a single scratch on it. Meanwhile, a random purple portal opens in the woods right next to a toll booth. At the desk, some kid in a suit is collecting a fee, looking bored out of his mind. Just then, someone in fresh kicks steps out of the portal, ready for adventure, and a new guy emerges looking way too cool and confident for this whole situation. This toll booth kid immediately stops him, putting a hand on his chest like a bouncer, demanding he pay the dungeon tax before he can go anywhere. What a shakedown. Our new protagonist just raises an eyebrow, asking which guild is running this little scam. And the kid proudly announces he is from the Zhu Scorpion Guild, bragging about his boss grinding inside. This hoodie guy just calmly asks what happens if he does not feel like paying. So the goon starts threatening him, pointing to the sky and promising his boss will smash him. But the new guy just points up too, asking, "You mean that guy up there?" This goon looks up, completely horrified to see his boss getting launched out of the dungeon like a cannonball. As the sky fills with debris from whatever just blew the dungeon exit wide open, and the massive level 22 Minotaur boss from before comes crashing out right after him. This absolute unit is now free, soaring through the air with nothing to stop it. It lands with enough force to crack the earth, making its grand, uninvited entrance, leaving the poor tax collector staring in disbelief at the monster now perched on a mountaintop. He is completely losing it, screaming that a boss escaped and they need to run for their lives. While emergency alerts blast everyone's phones, warning of a high-threat boss on the loose, and the Minotaur glares down at the broken, bleeding body of Zhu Zai, looks like the boss finished the job. This Minotaur brings its foot down with extreme prejudice, stomping Zhu Zai into the dirt. And for an encore, it rips a massive boulder from the ground to finish the job. Down below, a very broken Zhu Zai realizes he is too injured to even crawl away, whoops. But just before he is turned into a pancake, a flash of red light intercepts the attack. From a nearby clifftop, a woman with a massive spear has just intervened from a distance. She is a gold rank adventurer, and from the looks of it, she is the one in charge here. Her subordinate is completely starstruck, praising her for the incredible long-range snipe. But she is actually annoyed, admitting she had not even finished chanting the spell, which means her half-baked attack was still enough to shatter that boulder into a rock shower. Lying in the debris, Zhu Zai looks up, wondering if some high-level mage just saved his skin. Then a silhouette walks out of the dust, and it is definitely not the lady with the spear. This look on Zhu Zai's face says it all. He knows exactly who this is. It is the hoodie guy now named Zhu Yin, and his own guild master is looking a little worse for wear. A grateful Zhu Zai asks if he saved him, and Zhu Yin's like, "Yeah, but you were not the goal." Internally, Zhu Zai is spiraling, unable to see this guy's level and wondering how he got so strong. So his ego immediately kicks in, convincing himself it is all a bluff, the guy's hiding his level and just got lucky. Yep, that is definitely it, problem solved. The power of positive delusion is strong with this one. All this time, Zhu Yin is just staring down at him, radiating pure disappointment. He might want to stop monologuing because a giant shadow is suddenly falling over him. As the Minotaur boss decides it is time to interrupt this little reunion with a giant fist. This Minotaur roars, ready to smash Zhu Yin into paste. But a tiny projectile zips in and hits it right in the chest, a perfect little surprise. It glares off into the distance, clearly wondering who had the nerve to interrupt its rampage. Turns out it was Zhu Yin, a level 20 adventurer with a trap-buffing gear set. Completely enraged, the boss just leaps off the mountain to close the distance. Its jump is so powerful it shatters the entire clifftop behind it, and Zhu Yin just calmly fires off a net shot to greet his incoming guest. A glowing blue energy net flies out, ready to catch something big and angry, which it does, perfectly ensnaring the Minotaur midair. Talk about a sticky situation. This captured boss slams into the ground, completely immobilized for the moment. Then it gets sent flying into a nearby mountain, carving out a brand new crater. Meanwhile, one of his demon minions asks if they can finally use their awesome demon form. This form gives a massive attack boost but also makes them take more damage, a high-risk, high-reward play. But Zhu Yin shuts it down, saying there are too many witnesses for him to go full demon mode. His subordinate offers a very simple, very demonic solution: just kill all the witnesses, which gets a hard no. Back on the battlefield, the ground starts to crack as the Minotaur begins to break free. It launches itself into the air again, only to find itself right above a newly sprung trap. This beast comes crashing down with no way to stop its momentum, as a whole field of razor-sharp spikes erupts from the earth to meet it, and the Minotaur gets turned into a giant, angry pincushion, roaring in agony. Zhu Yin admits his spike trap barely did any damage. Talk about an anticlimax. And the onlooking adventurers realize the Minotaur is actually level 24, not 22. Turns out the gold rank lady has an insight skill that reveals true levels within a certain range. She points out the boss is 4 whole levels higher than Zhu Yin, which is basically a death sentence. Her subordinate agrees, saying only a genius like her could beat that gap and this guy's got no chance, but she seems to be having some second thoughts, watching the fight with real interest. This Minotaur and Zhu Yin face off from opposing cliffs, a massive chasm between them. So Zhu Yin just leaps off his perch, baiting the beast into another camouflaged explosive trap. It is a classic bear trap, but filled with a whole lot of fire. This trap goes off in a massive fiery explosion right as the Minotaur closes in. Debris and flames fill the air as the blast rocks the entire area, and the Minotaur just punches straight through the explosion without even flinching. It emerges from the smoke completely unharmed, looking more annoyed than anything else. This subordinate scoffs, calling Zhu Yin's Kaiten trap strategy hopelessly naive. To make matters worse, the boss enters berserk mode, its body glowing with rage. Now it is sprinting along the canyon wall, moving at an absolutely terrifying speed. Her subordinate nervously points out the obvious: the boss is way faster now, but Zhu Yin just calmly slaps down a black tar trap ready for his speedy guest. This Minotaur's hoof slams right into the sticky black substance, halting its charge. It is caught, but system messages show it is already resisting. This thing is a monster. Zhu Yin draws his bow, switching from setting traps to a more direct approach. His arrows pepper the Minotaur's hide, doing about as much damage as angry mosquitoes. Her subordinate scoffs that the traps are great, but Zhu Yin's damage output is pathetic. But the gold rank lady is not so sure, sensing there is a bigger plan at play here. Turns out he is firing trap shots, attaching weaker explosive traps directly to his arrows. Now the Minotaur is covered in these things, a walking time bomb of bad decisions. All those little traps detonate at once in a massive fiery chain reaction. This subordinate is forced to eat his words, admitting that actually did some real damage. His boss, however, is still unimpressed, declaring it is nowhere near enough to win. Zhu Yin watches the smoke clear, knowing this fight is far from over. He tells his unseen allies to stay alert, but someone's clearly not on the same page. A shadow falls over him just in time for him to look up, incoming, and the Minotaur comes screaming out of the sky, aiming to turn him into a crater. This shockwave launches Zhu Yin backwards, sending him flying helplessly through the air. He is heading straight for a massive net strung between 2 trees, another prepared trap. Our boy lands perfectly in the center, using it as his own personal safety net. Finally admitting he is in over his head, he calls out to a mysterious woman for help. And a new woman appears, smugly teasing him for finally breaking down and asking. She gets right to it, summoning a massive cloud of toxic miasma to flood the area. Caught in the fog, Zhu Yin just snarks back that he is not about to die from her help. Caught in the toxic cloud, the Minotaur immediately starts hacking and choking on the fumes. Desperately, the beast tries to wave the poison away, but the miasma just clings to it. So the Minotaur just unleashes a massive shockwave, trying to blow the entire poison cloud away. Its powerful shockwave actually works, blasting the toxic fog outwards across the entire forest. Her subordinate offers some brilliant analysis, pointing out that a thick toxic fog just appeared. Thanks, Captain Obvious. But the poison's already taking hold, causing these nasty black boils to pop up all over its skin. Turns out the mystery woman was not alone. A guy with a mustache just activated an exploding gas bomb, which, true to its name, immediately detonates in a massive, fiery explosion. Surprise.